So part 5. So I've just had some fun effects. And then I did purchase, and this one's got some spotting where there were some air bubbles in between the pieces of paper that I didn't work all the way out. But I bought some other fun papers, you know. This one is a voicemail log for, you know, phone messages. Old school style. Some ledger paper. This is a green tint paper that's been tea dyed. I got some blank music paper. This is coffee dyed with a light coffee. So you can see that you just get a variety of, and this does not even the full range. I have some that are much darker. But I didn't get the deep dark browns like some people are getting that I've seen on some videos. So I have to figure out how they're getting that. I did not oven dye my papers. I dyed these and then I dried them on old rag towels on top of my stove with it on low. Because when you, first of all, you have to leave your oven on whether you're drying in the oven or not. But the pages that you put in the oven get a little crispier, and you really have to be hyper vigilant about it because you can basically overcook your papers. And I've never seen a video where somebody says they caught their shit on fire, but it is a possibility. So now I've taken all this shit apart and I have to figure out, I know that came out of there and these two go together and this goes with this. But this isn't even the tip of the, I still have to put in some tuck spots. I've got a couple of 6x9 envelopes that I've put in here folded up. Like, this is very basic, but I want it to be mostly for bullet journaling, not necessarily for journaling. And I've seen junk journals that I don't know how people use them, other than they must just be art pieces because they're so full of lace and embellishments that there's no practical way to use it. And they're overstuffed and kind of fussy. And I know a lot of people like that, but that's not really my thing. And I've also been doing, so I like this grungier kind of, and here's a nice section. These are beet dyed, and that's a tea dye. That's that peach tea again. And then coffee dyed. And there's a coffee dye where it came out darker, some splotchy, and then this is the ones that I tried in the oven. I did a couple in the oven, and you get those, I love this, you get the wire rack marks. So I thought about pulling out one of the oven racks, because I really only use one in there, and putting it on the stove top while I'm doing this, and seeing if I can get, because that's where the liquid pools, you pull it out and it's dripping wet, and you lay it on whatever you lay it on. So I get a very flat matte texture, and afterwards it was lighter than I liked on one side, so I just like cupped coffee or tea and I kind of splooshed it on the paper. But this one we got nice dark, but I really like this. That's where the paper's soaking wet and you lay it on the rack and the paper pools where the metal wire is. And so you get a darker line there, and it doesn't rub off like some of where I've had the speckles of the coffee grounds or the tea on the paper. The beet juice is fun because you can get as light as this, and I have some that are super, super dark. Is that one that's in here really dark? Like, that's still a medium shade, but I've had some really dark papers. And the effect is fun, and the beet juice, actually doesn't stain my fingers as much as the coffee or tea. So I've been, my fingers look so grubby and nasty. They look like I've been digging in the dirt, but that's just coffee and tea. And I will tell you a secret, if you're doing something like this, I have found that the Crest, I think it's Crest toothpaste, the kind that has the baking soda in it, if you rub that on your fingers and you let it sit for a few minutes, it takes off almost all of it. And a couple of applications, if yours have got quite as grungy as mine, because I forgot to put the toothpaste on there last night when I showered, and it's got down into the, you know, where it's dry in here. My hands are so dry from this process, but that lifts off a lot of the staining super easy. Not even a full minute. You'd rub it on, let it sit for 20-30 seconds, and it'll take most of it off. So if you do that while you're tea dyeing, like if you notice your hands are getting kind of grubby, you probably won't get any of this. But you know, I'm a messy, sloppy kind of person, so that's just how it goes for me. And that's basically what I've been working on. There was a period in there where I was sick again. My son brought home to me and gave to me as a lovely Thanksgiving, Christmas season present a magnificent flu, which was very difficult to get rid of. He only had it for a couple of days, but I had for almost 6 weeks, and it really did me in. One other thing that I just started a couple of days ago is I have taken apart some children's books for a project that I'm working on. And these are the, you know, I've just been collecting up images as I go through the month. Ooh, that's pretty, I like that. So my plan is, this is Walter the farting dog, and this was in very bad shape. I love this orange color, this tangerine kind of color, so I'm gonna put a big envelope down here, or a big pocket to cover this, because I want to leave this, and I like the stripy effect here. And maybe I'll grunge it up with a little black over here along the edges. And then I decided that normally I would just cover the whole thing and flip it over a little bit on this side. But I really love the stripy and then the purple. So what I'm going to cover, I'm going to sand the glossy part down a little bit. And I'm going to cover this with some fun paper. Probably a solid would be my guess, because that's a lot going on. Although I guess I could get away with a floral of some kind as long as it had some red in it or some purple. But I just love this size, and I don't know what I did with the back of the book at the moment. So I bought these books, and it's called The Big Book, and it's a big, great big huge journal. I found the other half of the book. It had a big black cover. But the problem is, when I started using it, I bought 2 of them because they were a good price. They were on sale. And I'm dismantling it because it's so unwieldy to use. This is, I have another one that I'm using for my book of days, for my spiritual kind of art journaling. And I may transfer to this method over time and make a spine to fit the pages that I've already done. But I hate getting it out. I hate how bulky it is. At the beginning, the pages, you know, like this is out of the spine, so it's going to open nicely to wherever I want. But it's really hard to work in the first part of the book, and it'll be really hard to work in the last part of the book. So and the paper's a little thinner. Oh, look, I need to find a place to use that. It's the kind of "You Are Here," it's my first page. I didn't realize I had that in here, and I really like it. Hey, look, and I did decent handwriting lettering. So here I am. I'm starting where I am. I'm using what I have. I'm doing what I can, and I think it will be enough. But that's kind of fun and charming. I'll have to find a place to use that. So I've been cutting down some of these pages to fit in here. Where I need thicker pages, I can always glue 2 together. But this is a kind of a multimedia weight paper. It's not as thin as a computer paper, but it's not as thick as a watercolor paper or anything like that. So, there is bleed through. You can see it a little bit here, where I did the February. There's some ghosting on the back. But I've just been, you know, this is out of a magazine, and this is a little journal card from some scrapbooking paper. These are some scraps from tea dyeing, and I love this. I use this paper for an envelope project that I'm making. So I made these as add-ins for a kit that I'm selling, and I put some little freebies in there. But basically, what's going to happen is I have a big pile of these to finish. I've cut all this out. I've edged it. I've put the corners. So I'll glue this on the front and back. And this is not one of the good ones to do. But there'll be a little pocket here, and I can tuck a little tiny tag on it. But what you can do is put this on a page or use it in a tuck spot in a junk journal. Let's see if I have one that's not like that. One that's here. This one's already, see, it's like a little pocket. So